Good morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I know that this movie, this is the third time I'm making this video because technical difficulties and then my memory card was full. Third time's a charm, right? I'm inside. Got so much going on right now. So I'm going to try to stay focused and not go everywhere. The energy right now is really busy, and then I have a lot of things going on. The kids are back at school. We're all doing karate. We have the harvest going on. We are trying to get the farm up and going so that if the pumpkins come out, we can have a pumpkin patch and sell the pumpkins this year. There's a lot going on. The loofah gourds. Did it just stop working? I'm not sure what just happened. There are so much issues. Everybody talks about how Mercury retrograde causes all of these issues with your technology. But right now, with Uranus stationary going into retrograde and it being the ruler of Aquarius and this Aquarius moon and all of this stuff going on, there's even more disruption in our technology. One of the ladies that I follow is saying there's going to be like major disruption. So it looks like everything is recording. We're going to keep going forward. So, this full moon, I know, is coming up very quickly. It is the 22nd, or for some, the 21st. It happens in the middle of the night. So, it'll be early morning on the 22nd or late at night on the 21st, in that kind of time area. So, it's like tomorrow night. And like I said, things have just been crazy. The neighbor brought over a bunch of their harvest because they've got peaches and plums and all of these great things in their yard. And so she brought me 4 trash, like King Soopers little plastic baggies worth, like full of all of these things. So I'm like, well, I'm going to have to go find jars and I'm going to have to do something with all of these. I can't just let them go to waste. We already made peach pie. You should have seen my sisters come at me. They like tag teamed it. The younger one came in and says, Tara, can you make peach pie? I'm like, well, yeah. And the other one comes in, she says, hey, Tara, what would it take to make some peach pie? And then they both gave me this look like, oh, we just need pie. So I had to make peach pie. And I saw it glitch again. I don't know. Okay, I think that my spirit guides are telling me to stay focused. So let's stay focused, because I know this is already going to be a long video. Let me slow down. Let's focus on this full moon coming up. So there's a lot of things going on right now astrologically, and I guess I always say that. There's always a lot of things going on because there's a lot of planets and there's a lot of energies and there's so much going on everywhere all the time with the energy. So let's talk about what's affecting that energy right now and what's going to affect this full moon. And I want to start off with talking about the blue moon. I have a whole nother video that's me ranting about the blue moon, and if you've already seen it, just be prepared. Here's a little bit more of that. I feel very strongly about this, and I think that in one of my very old past lives, I must have been a timekeeper because I feel so strongly about the way that we keep time and how it contradicts the way that our ancestors keep time. So when the Romans took over a significant portion of the world, they decided that it was becoming too chaotic to have a spiritual calendar based off the moon and a governmental calendar based off the sun. So, the Gregorian emperor, I don't know what his name is, I'm assuming something of that nature. He decided he was going to change it. They were no longer going to keep to calendars, and the entire society was going to move over to the Gregorian calendar, and we were going to live off of a solar-based calendar where the first day of the year is not determined by a solstice. Now, I say this, and I'm sure if I had lots and lots of followers, someone would be like, hey, you're wrong. But pretty much all of our ancestors before that, and in anywhere that the Romans didn't conquer, they didn't follow a solar calendar. They followed a lunar calendar. They also followed the calendars as they aligned with each other, the solar and the lunar. These are two aspects. Like, even though the world doesn't all accept yin and yang, they do accept this balance of light and dark. They come together, the solar and the lunar holidays and days of important, let's not say holidays, let's say important days. And they come together and they create a complete calendar. And you can't have one without the other. Ugh, there's a fly. It's been driving me crazy. And I just smushed it under my hand on my leg. And then it flew away. I think it must have gone between my fingers. Anyways, so balance, coming together. Now, all of this is said because this full moon coming up is a true blue moon. I was really disappointed in one of the wonderful ladies that I follow who talks about the new moons and the dark, like, and the moon cycles and different ways of connecting with the energy. Brushed over this like in a whim's glance, blah, blah, blah. She said it's not important. There's no added energy. Now, this is because of our lack of connection between the solar and the lunar calendars and the way that they come together in balance. So the true definition of a blue moon is the third full moon in a season of full moons that has 4 full moons. Now, by season, I mean right now we're in summer. So normally, pretty much always, well, not always, I think it's every 3 years or something like that, we get a true blue moon. Anyways, so from the solar holiday of the summer solstice to the solar holiday of the equinox, there are typically 3 full moons in that. So every other, that's why we've been off this whole time. Remember, we talked about earlier and all of these things, why everybody's a little off, because they're basing their moon energy and names off of our Gregorian calendar, which has nothing to do with the sun or the moon, in fact. Anyways, this Gregorian calendar in which we base our Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, August, September, whatever, this is a modern, by modern I mean in the last whatever thousands of years, modern in the evolution of this world and earth and universe, a modern, physical, human-created thing that we've put in this world that has nothing to do with the sun or the moon or the grand conjuring energies that create the cycle of our life. That being said, when we look at it from just that Gregorian calendar, we do lose the significance of a blue moon. So typically from the winter solstice, Yule, to all the way back around, we have 12 full moons in a year. Each season has 3 full moons. Now, once in a blue moon, we have 13 full moons between one solstice to the next solstice, like one winter solstice full cycle. This happens to be one of those. So this is an extra full moon in our calendar of full moons. So this is a 13th moon. It doesn't come at the end of the year. I mean, no, it would never come at the end of the year. It's always the third one. If we go back and track to our ancestors, it was very important for them to have the first full moon and the last full moon of each season. These were significant. They marked major changes. This next thing that's going to happen now is a solar thing. And so it helped them to keep track of these things. It helped them to stay connected with these energies and find balance between the sun and the moon. And when the grand keeper of time said, hey, we have this extra full moon, It was the third because the three is a magical number connecting with the gods and the cycles of life and creativity and creation. And so this creation of new energy, of an extra moon, this was a phenomenal time to just connect with the energy of the divine goddess and really just boosts in that energy. And it would have been grandly celebrated. Like, oh my goodness, we have an extra full moon. We have an extra moment of enlightenment. We have an extra opportunity to connect. It would have been almost like they got a whole extra month in their cycle. And for us in modern times, we're like, well, yeah, that's just like an optical illusion, because they didn't really get extra time. The moons happen to fall in a way to where they align because they're almost at the end and da-da-da-da. But in the eyes of our ancestors, it would have been extra time that we were granted by the goddess of creation, who was like, here, have this extra thing. And it would have been a grand celebration. And they have different names for it all around the world. If you look into all ancient cultures, they would have noted this. This is something different that's happening, just like when Venus rises and sets, or when the dog star rises. So these things all had a significant impact on our ancestors and therefore had grand energy. And because we have shifted away from this connection with the natural calendar and the natural cycles and just the nature of things, we've lost some of that importance. And so we lose the energy that is so grand. So we just had the Lion's Gate open, we just had the dog star rise, and now we're getting this extra moon. Our ancestors would have seen this as a time of great, great significance. It would have been like something major is happening. Now, not only is that happening, but all of our exterior planets as of today, not all, because I don't know about the little planets on the outside. I'm pretty sure, I don't know. I don't know if they're in retrograde. I can't say for sure. But I do know that Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, as of today, Uranus just started it, so it's actually still and moving into retrograde. But they're all moving into retrograde. So not only do we have the Lion's Gate opening, and we have the dog star rising, and we have a true blue moon, and we have all of these planets in retrograde, this new moon, or dark full moon, also is a second full moon in Aquarius, which is the change zodiac, the flowing, look for something different, find a different angle, make a change kind of energy that it's bringing into the moon. So like on my paper right here, as you can, I don't know if you can read it, intense change. So with all of this going on, you are probably feeling this grand energy of change. You're feeling that something needs to be different. You're feeling that something's not right and that you have this major thing to change. A lot of people are probably changing their jobs and moving and doing big, big changes. And they might be doing all of those big changes at once because this is that time. All of these planets in retrograde are calling on you to focus on their different aspects. So, Uranus in retrograde is saying, hey, stop, unwind all of these things that you're doing and reanalyze them from an analytical scientific perspective. Is this the right way? And then reset those pieces in order. Pluto is saying, let's look into these dark, shadowy places. And what are you covering up? What are you hiding? What's lying underneath? Jupiter is calling on justice and social things, and it's saying, hey, let's so unfortunately it's probably in a more negative way, but it's highlighting injustices so that we can have change into those justices. And so each one of the retrograde planets is having one of those things. It's really bubbling up. Here are the things that need to be fixed. And as always, you can look at this from two perspectives. When you look at it from the perspective of everything around me is failing, you'll have a day like I had yesterday where it really was like, oh my goodness, everything around me is no good. And instead of seeing any kind of positive, I was just in this like negative mindset of everything is poo. And you're going to see that a lot because there is just this bubbling anticipation of change. And if you are focused on the fear and you're focused on the anxiety and on the negative aspects, then that's what you're going to manifest. You have to stop. I had to do some yoga and go to karate and have a good life, talk with my husband, and all of those things that make you feel better. And today I came out with a positive mindset. I see where the things that need to be improved. I see the mistakes that are being made. I see the changes that need to be made. And positive productivity is the thing that we want to manifest. And therefore, that's what I'm doing. And that's what's happening so far. And it's going great. So way better than yesterday. Your perspective has a lot to do with the way in which you're manifesting that day's energy. So as we have a lot of chaotic things going on, I'm going to talk about some more things specifically. I keep glancing over here at my paper because I'm trying to stay focused. But this blue moon thing really gets me. This moon that's coming up, this Aquarius full moon tomorrow, is an extra full moon. It is an extra time for you to manifest, to see, to feel, to connect, and really feel your magical energy. It doesn't have a name. It's not a wolf moon or a mead moon or a cold moon or any of those things because it's a blue moon. It is special. It does carry a special energy. This is a gift that we are given every blue moon to manifest something new. And it's in Aquarius. So it's calling on you and like a beaming light. It is hitting everything that is in front of you, and it's refracting that energy into 1,000 different directions. And you get to choose which way do you want to take that energy and let it flow. Let that energy flow and to create something new and to create change, and follow it into your manifestations of what you want and not into fear. And don't let all of those retrogrades really be like on your brain, okay? And if you feel the on your brain, that's probably what it is. And you need to stop and you need to take a deep breath. I highly recommend lying in the I know the lady that I do yoga with, she says the end of life pose. I don't know how to say it in the language. And right this second, that word Hindu. See, it left my brain. Okay, don't just, you lay down on the ground with your palms up, slightly extended, legs slightly apart, very comfortable, and just breathe and be present in your body. Take that moment. It really makes a difference. Breathe and then manifest think about what you want to manifest and then manifest that energy and move forward with that in a positive perspective. So let's talk about some more focused things other than just the blue moon, because I was ready to go on a rant. I try to not do that. But we always are talking about how we're connecting with the old ways and we are going back to the natural. And sometimes we forget that May, June, July, August has nothing to do with solstices and full moons and equinoxes and the cycles of life, just because we've put this modern thing onto it. It reminds me of what the yogi and guru that I watch says. I shared one of his things in his breathing techniques and another thing. But anyways, he says, when someone asks him, why do we need to understand what Om means? He says, no. And by trying to put human context on that, you're failing. Om is the noise that we can make. It is the first noise that is made. It is made without the tongue. So when you're pronouncing it, and I know there's some discussions out there on how you pronounce it, but if you're using your tongue to say Om, you're doing it wrong. And your tongue should lie flat on the bottom of your mouth, because the point is this is a sound that we can make without using our tongue, without any other tool. to connect with this basic energy of creation. And this full moon that's coming up is kind of like that same energy. It is providing you with the basic energy of creation, splashed with this aquatic flowing energy of Aquarius, and then rumbled with the energy of all this retrograde. So it is really calling for immense amounts of change. It's calling for you to think about the way you want to connect with your community. It's bubbling up that energy to do those things. If you focus on building a community, then it's going to bubble up and it's going to create that. If you're focusing on getting a new education or a new job or a new house or a new whatever, and you focus on that, it's going to bubble up, and that's what you're going to get. We have just this grand manifestation energy that we are being gifted with this blue moon, with this harvest energy. Oh, I could just think about the parties that our ancestors would have had. This would have been a really big full moon for them with all of the different astrological things that are going. We have Saturn trine with Venus, which is calling on love and commitment. And even though Saturn is in retrograde, it's saying, like, communicate. Talk to your lover, create this bond, and strengthen that. We also have Mars and Uranus trine right now, which is saying add power to what it is you're trying to achieve and succeed in a very analytical, scientific, so work-based, and bringing about that new creation. Inventors are feeling inventive. You might want to do magic. If you're really feeling that urge, like, oh, I need to do some magic, do it. This is the time to manifest that. We also have Jupiter in Aquarius, Jupiter's retrograde in Aquarius, conjunct to this full moon in Aquarius, at opposition to the sun in Leo. It's like a mouthful. And a lot of jargon, but really what that's saying is that Jupiter, this planet of community and justice and social power, is pointing out, hey, we need this change. Let's make this change. And Aquarius is saying, here are all of the different paths that you can take. What path are you going to take? And you have to take that path. So take it. Pick which path that you want. How do you see the society moving forward? You know, we have social injustice happening all over. We have horrible things happening in Afghanistan right now. We have droughts and fires happening, you know, in Turkey and in California. We have the COVID causing more problems. We have racial inequalities across the board. There are just so many issues that are bubbling up to the surface. And with all of these planets in retrograde, that is exactly what is meant to be happening. And it's all pointing out, like, hey, this is what we need to do. And so now we have this moment of like, oh, so what is it that you want to manifest in your own house, in your own mind, in your own community, in the world? And manifest that. I know that they say, oh, we all wish for world peace, but nobody really wants to sit and manifest that energy. And this is the time to manifest that. Send out positive energy to all of these people who are suffering all over the world. Another weird random interaction that's going on right now is that Saturn and Sirius are square to each other. So they're causing this major conflict between what people are doing and the food that we have, our agricultural supply. That's what Sirius rules over. And so right now, with them being square, we're seeing the problem with food to our table. We're seeing the problem with all of the things that yes, I said agricultural, but it's not just agricultural that this is in reference to. Markets. Anything that we go to the store to buy, to bring home, and we're like, oh, that's because of COVID and this and that. But there's other issues all across the world. Like I said, there are fires going on. There are There are internal conflicts in countries all over the place that are causing huge devastation. There are droughts. There are floods. We're about to see earthquakes. I saw an earthquake thing in Canada. This is starting. The earth is rumbling with all of this energy. And it's calling for us to make that change and to use this Aquarius full moon to flow into something new and to not put our blinders on and hide in fear or let anxiety take over, but instead look at this from a perspective of now it's time. Make it or break it. Are we going to do this? Are we going to commit to these changes? Are we going to make this happen? Or are we going to continue in this same social self-destructive cycle that we've been in, that people are in all over the world? There are plenty of resources all over the world. And yes, we should focus local and on providing for our local communities and building more sustainable systems. And then those systems being sustainable, there will always be excess. And because there is excess, we need to just get over this mine issue and be able to help those who are in need. And not in a false way like we do now, but in a real way. Like, hey, I have these extra potatoes. Let me show you how to plant them so that you can grow potatoes for your community. Bam. Okay? Spreading the love. How are you going to manifest that? So Uranus is really big right now too. It just went into retrograde. Uranus rules Aquarius. We got a lot of planets that are in Aquarius, and there are the ruling energies right now for other reasons. I'm not trying to get that technical. Anyways, Uranus is really calling on people right now to break down your systems and then to radically change them and create something better. So we're seeing this on the grand scale, but you're feeling this at home and you're feeling this in yourself. Stress-related sicknesses, somatization of your stress is going to be really high right now. And somatization of stress is when your stress is so bad that it's manifested physically in your body through gut issues, through migraines, through acne, through anxiety, through insomnia. There are some weight gain. There are just a lot of different ways that it can manifest into a person, and you're going to see a lot of that right now. We gotta stop, break down this system that we're going through and stop that cycle of stress so that we can be healthier, so that we can feel better. And so Uranus is saying, hey, right now, I'm going to show you in your face. Here is where you need to make these corrections. And so I would highly recommend to do some journaling and to think about what it is that is causing your emotions. What emotions are you having and what's causing those emotions? And, if you have recently suffered from some kind of stress-related illness, or if your immune system has been weakened because of stress or all of these things, why? What is causing this stress? Where can you make the changes to manifest something better? You have this power. A lot of times we get stuck in this thing like, I can't make change. Well, right now, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, the moon, Aquarius, Pluto, not Mars. I mean, Mars is like oomph up that power, but they are all calling on you and telling you, you can make change. You can manifest what it is that you want to manifest. And now is the time to manifest that and to put that energy forth. We have this beautiful full moon. So manifest that. So I would say today, if you're watching this the day before the full moon, or on the 21st, if you're watching this then, break down those cycles. Analyze what it is that's causing you the problems and that's keeping you from attaining your goals, or that's holding you back, or that's making you feel uncomfortable, or what is it that you want in your life that you feel like you don't have. And figure that out. Write it down. Let Uranus show you. You might have been in this state of like, I don't know. But now is the time that you do know. Now is the time to manifest that, to look at that and know these are the things that are holding me back. These are the things that I want. And now is the time to manifest that energy. So if you are a journaler, get out your journal and write this down. What is holding me back? What is challenging me? What do I want to achieve? What am I going to manifest? And really say it like that. I am going to manifest that. I don't want to say any words there because I don't want to put that in your brain. I want you to manifest what it is that you want. And go with that. And use this full moon for that. So that's what I challenge you to do, is to answer those questions, to think about what it is that you want to change, and to think about how you want your energy to flow. Because remember, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed. So you bring in this energy, and how are you creating something with it? What are you creating with it? And really go with that. And honor this as a true blue moon, an extra gift from the goddess, that we can honor her and we can honor ourselves. So it's a good time to really honor yourself. Find balance between work and home with Leo and Aquarius being those opposite ends of the perspective. How do you honor yourself and support your community? Think about that. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you have a phenomenal blue moon. I toast to you, and I will see you all again very soon.